Countless. Millions of people listen to him in every country in the world every day. Get ready to beam. Here is Paul Santisi.
Hello everyone, I'm Paul Santisi, and we're about to engage in a live interview on the Angels Speakers radio show with Terry Miller. And we're going to do it old school tonight. I have the camera set up, but we're actually going to use a rotary phone. Well, it's not a rotary phone, but it's an old phone. Let's get to it. We have 3 minutes and 51 seconds till we start, so I'll probably do a quick fade right here, and we'll pick up when the show begins.
And again, welcome. I want to say a little bit about this man that's in the studio with me tonight. About 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I was going through some very dark stuff. I had just come from 2 cancer surgeries in 2 years. My marriage had broken up. I was 3,000 miles away from my family, any support system that I had. So it was at that point, I call that my cocoon time. I was in this darkness and not seeing any light at all. And I just started searching. I started that search for the who, what, and why that I was here. And I kept hearing this one name. The name kept popping up, Paul Santisi. Who is this man? So the curious person that I am, I did a search, and I found Paul Santisi on YouTube, as you will as well, if you just go on there and search for him. And what I found was just incredible. His meditations was just what I needed. Some of them take you to see the pants, and, with his just reality and getting real with it, getting down to the nitty-gritty. And the others, it just takes you to this level of really searching, and that's what I needed, and that's what I did. I searched, I dug through all the crud, and, like I talked about in my book, Husband Love, I talked about that journey, and, finally came through all of that, and then started just soaring like that butterfly once it comes out of the cocoon. But I'm just so in awe of this man and all that he's done and put out there. He has over 148 YouTube videos that's out there for us that is available anytime we just go and listen to them, and you have to pull one up and listen if you're not familiar with who he is. But I'm sure if you're listening, you probably have heard of Paul Santisi. And when I approached him to be on the show with me, I was just in awe of him, and I took that chance and said, okay, I'm going to ask him if he'll do it. I hit the send button, and it was just like take a deep breath, and then all of a sudden, there's the response, and he's like, yes, I would love to be on the show with you. So, welcome, Paul Santisi, to my studio. I'm so glad you're here.
Awesome. Glad to be here. I'm excited. This is it's a time in the waiting. What did we originally connect about a month ago, right? Was it a month?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, about a month ago.
And then I'm glad I reached out to you on Tuesday, because I thought it was yesterday. So it was good I double-checked.
I know. Well, you could have come on with us last night, because we just had a blast on here last night. But I know we're going to have one tonight as well. Debbie Garcia was on last night. I know you're familiar with who she is. And she's actually in the chat room with us tonight, listening in. So hi, Debbie.
Great, welcome. Hello.
So, my friend, as we were talking earlier, I like to just keep these informal when I have people in the studio with me. You're the guest co-host, so that when the callers call in, you'll handle those. They'll call to talk to you, so, we'll let you handle all of that. But just, while we're sitting here, I wanted to be just informal and just let the listeners get to know more about you, about that man behind the meditation. I've heard your story about, your experience and how it started, but would you like to share that with the listeners that may not be familiar?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great story. I love sharing the story. Oh, wow. We're going on, let's see, we're in March. Yeah, wow. So we're going on 4 years now. Wow, 4 years.
Right.
Lots been going on in 4 years, and we're still at the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. So anyways, 4 years ago, I was at a weekend event in Las Vegas, and I was at the MGM Grand Casino, and it was on a Saturday after we had just broken for lunch. We had just listened to a couple phenomenal speakers, and I was walking back to get some lunch or take a nap or do something. It was a lunch break, and I remember I was with my friends, and I walked by the Starbucks, and I read the word Starbucks, and as soon as I did that, I felt this presence or heard this voice from within me saying, "You'll create meditations, you'll create meditations, you'll create meditations." And I'm like, I'm looking around at like, who's saying this to me? And this voice was so persistent. It was so authoritative. It was so direct. You'll create meditations, you'll create meditations, you'll create meditations. And I finally just said to myself, okay, I'll create meditations. Just leave me alone. What are you doing? Like, who is this?
Right.
And I looked at my friend Joe, and I said, hey, Joe, when I get home, I'm going to create meditations. And he looks at me, and he goes, why would you do that? And we all just kind of laughed. And that was it. Thought nothing of it. Continued on the weekend. And then when I got home, this presence was back. You'll create meditations. You'll create meditations. And I remember having these conversations with myself going, I don't even know what meditating is. What do you mean I'm going to create meditations? And I just had this presence just kind of flow through me. It was a guidance that just said, we'll create these together. And I sat down in front of the computer, and I created the first meditation titled Frequency. Well, then I didn't know what to do with it because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what meditating was before. I actually thought people that meditated were kind of creepy. That's how much I didn't know about meditating. And so then I thought, well, I don't know what to do, so let me send it to the last person that I heard on stage that weekend. So I got a hold of him, and he said, yeah, send it to me. I'd like to listen to it. And I was like, great, fantastic. And I sent it out, and a couple of weeks later, he got back to me, and he said, never stop doing what you started to do. And that's how this began. And so then from there, I posted it on YouTube. And I never had a YouTube account, never looked at YouTube, didn't know what YouTube was. I just signed up with an account, uploaded this audio, and went to sleep. And I woke up that next morning, and it had something crazy back then, like 350 views. And I didn't know that that was really good. I didn't know what I didn't know. And what was really the indicator that I was onto something special was the comments. There were dozens and dozens and dozens of comments. And they were all people sharing their gratitude and their thankfulness and their aha moments and the awakening and the feelings that and the emotions that they felt listening to this audio. And so then I'm like, wow, this is great. I guess I'm going to create meditations now. So then I started to think, well, what can I do next? And nothing would flow through me. I got stuck. I was in the think stage. I thought I had to think about what to do. And nothing was flowing, and I was getting kind of agitated and irritated. So I'm like, all right, maybe that was just a one-time shot. I'll go back to being me. And I just continued to live my life. And then what I noticed was I started getting these feelings. These feelings would present themselves to me, and they were so strong, these feelings, that I had to create that feeling. So then I realized that I didn't have to think about what to do next. I was feeling what to create next. And I just started to pull on that thread, and that's evolved us to where we are now. 4 years later, at the beginning, not even knowing what meditating is, fast forward 4 years, my audios and videos are virtually some of the most listened to in the world. And countless thousands of correspondences, comments, and peer positive testimonials flow in each week, hundreds a day. It's like nonstop. Every few seconds, there's someone expressing their gratitude to something that they've listened to. So it's really special. It's really magical, and I'm really enjoying the journey. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and I'm sure some of those comments were from me. I guess I related to the passion, that you come out with in the meditation and the realness of it. I don't think that's a word, but, that's what I was getting is this guy's real. you can just tell when you're talking to somebody, either live or listening to a recording. You can tell if their heart's in it or where their real intention is with it. And I know when I just first started with even the first one that I listened to, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's real. It makes you get real with yourself. And that's what I loved about it. It's like, okay, let me listen to another one and see if it's the same. It's like one was, okay, but let me see if if it's continuous throughout the meditation. And sure enough, it was. And just like you say, mind-blowing. But, so I guess what I wanted to ask you, while I was listening to you talk, that was the first time that you've heard spirit then, that you've heard that little voice that nudged you and told you to do something?
I've gotten many impressions my whole life, going back as a child. I didn't really know what was going on. I just thought I was hearing and seeing things. This was the first time that I actually listened and said, okay, and I acknowledged that guidance and followed through with it. But to say, I wouldn't say that was the first time I heard something like that in my head. I've heard many things in my head throughout my life. But that was the first time I listened to it. And, going back to what you said when you listen to the audios, and anyone that's listened to me who's listening now or who's going to experience what I've created after the show, there's one thing I do, and there's an element that I do that virtually no one else does, and they don't do it because they don't know it. And it's basically, and I talk about this on all my audios, before every audio I tell you what my intention of the audio is. And there's a formula I do with myself before I create. And I create these audios in one take, one shot. I don't redo pieces. I don't listen back through it. I don't cut it. I don't edit. I hit the go button. I let it flow, and that's the audio. And my intention when I create these audios and these videos, or anything that I create really, is my intention is my desire is for one person to feel better about themselves. That's it. So a lot of people are focused on the technical stuff. They think about what should I say, how should I say it. Their delivery's smooth, their tone's good, their music is clean. They spend a ton of money in having it mastered in a professional studio, so it sounds clean and crisp and it sounds great. But 5 or 10 minutes into it, you're bored. You're not feeling anything, and you're like, I don't understand how this is just not working for me. It's because A, we don't know what their intention is. Was it ego-based? Was it to satisfy their own needs? Was it to just make money? Was it just to toot their own horn? We don't know. So we have no idea what that intention is, and then when they create these audios, it's all technical, so there's no energetic buzz. Where I'm coming from is my intention is everything. I focus on the inside first. My beam and broadcast that I'm radiating out forward is number one. That allows the listener to expand through me, through that experience. And it's a magical concept. It's 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master. But that, if there's one thing that would be the complete difference to what I do versus, we'll say, others, it's that. I work from the inside out. I don't worry about the final product of the technical stuff because I know if my energy is right, my intention's there, that's the most important thing. Because the only way we can raise our vibration collectively as a being and throughout the planet and beyond is to feel good first, to feel better. Because when you feel better, your vibration automatically and instantly amplifies and raises. So that's the first thing that we all need to work on in order to have any type of positive shift or expansion in consciousness.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You know, the happiness, the peace, that has to come with doing that inside work. Like, you know, what I was saying at the beginning, I took that time that I needed to take to go in and just dig out all that crud, all that negative, all those things that had built up for years. You know, so many people hold on to that. And, you know, it's like when you're angry at somebody, you don't want to forgive them because you want to hold on to that anger. You know, you're deserving of that anger because they hurt you, but you're only hurting yourself. And you're never going to find peace by holding on to stuff like that.
No.
And you're never going to
No.
find that true happiness inside by holding on to it. So, yeah, it's very important to come from that place when you're sending that light out to others to help other people and giving them, possibly a lifeline, just like you were there when I needed somebody to, to say those words and to say them with that passion and that realness that you came through with. And, I just really appreciate those times with you. Now, some of yours that I have listened to, you say at the beginning that you're doing it in 3D sound. Can you explain what that is?
Oh, the 3Ds. Yeah.
I love the
3Ds. The 3Ds are awesome.
Yes, they are. I love it.
The story on the 3Ds was an interesting one. I was probably, maybe a dozen meditations into creating, and then I was on YouTube just searching around like everyone, and I caught wind of the 3D sound technology, and I would put on the headphones and I could hear like a virtual haircut, or people would throw light bulbs in the garage or shake keys, and it was awesome how that device picked up the sound in a 3D environment, and it made you feel as if they were in the room with you. And I thought, wow, this would be amazing if I could create meditations with this. So I started looking up 3D microphones, and the ones I found online were really expensive, like tens of thousands of dollars for really good ones. I'm like, okay, I'm not going down that direction. And I just did a little diligence, and I looked up on Google, and I found some instructions on kind of how to assemble one, and I built my own. I built my own 3D microphone. And it's basically, it's a mannequin, what it is, and there's binaural microphones in the head, and I kind of built ear canals, and I put on silicone ears, and I duplicated brain tissue the best I could. So when I'm creating those 3D affirmations and those 3D audios, I'm in a room walking around, and I'm speaking to this mannequin. I'm not in a sound booth. It's not a traditional microphone. It's another being that I created that I'm talking to. And the way the audio is picked up, it's as if I'm talking to you and only you. And it's true because I am, because the microphone is a representation of you, the listener. So when you listen to those audios, you feel me in your face. You hear me whispering in your ear. You hear me in back of your head. You feel me walking towards you. You feel me in the room with you. And that's really magical. And I believe, I was probably one of the first, if still the only one out there doing those, because it's so incredibly simple, but no one will ever figure it out. It's one of those little magical little cereal box toys that I reached down and pulled out. That was one in a million, and I don't even know how I built the mic. I don't know how I got it to work. I still have no clue. Something else flowed through me with that.
Yeah, I'm so glad
but
you
that's
figured it
that
out
on the 3D.
Yeah, I love those. And and it's like you said, I hear you in my ear, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, you're at the other end of the room, but it keeps you, I guess, on your toes while you're doing the meditation. Like some meditations that I listen to, it's like you get into listen to the voice, and then all of a sudden you might be drifting off. But with you, it's like, oh my God, where is he now? And it makes you think, and it makes you pay attention to what's being said to you, and I love that.
Another thing that does too, that you just mentioned, is when anyone listening, when you listen to these, you have to wear the headphones, otherwise you won't experience the 3D sound. But basically, you're going to hear me everywhere all at once, and I am everywhere all at once. And then what that does is it keeps your mind focused. So you can't think about anything else when you're listening to those audios. So it actually, while I'm coming at you so quickly from everywhere, it's actually allowing your mind to become still because you're not thinking. You're in the moment. And it allows you to enter into these meditative states that they're mind-blowing. It's all I can say. Words can't describe the emotions that will be elicited through you when you listen to some of those audios.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and the topics that you go into with some of these, it's all things that I've related to, especially you do things like with astral projection. Not everybody that's on that you can access on YouTube, because that's, I guess, where people go, because you don't have to pay anything. Go in and listen to somebody teach you to meditate or help you with meditation. Not everybody is varied like you are. You can go on, you can learn about astral projection, you can learn about affirmations. Now let's talk about affirmations. Were you doing affirmations prior to doing the meditation videos, or is that something that happened, that evolved after doing them?
No, everything kind of evolved. Like I said, I really got to the point where I don't think. I just wait for a feeling to present itself, and then something I do that's special, that anyone listening, you should apply this because it's magical, and I'll explain it. If you act on a feeling within 24 to 48 hours, there's a energetic momentum that's automatically attached to that feeling. Anytime you go past 48 hours, you go into the think stage. And when you think, you're thinking about the how. And when you think about the how, you're focused on the doubt, the lack, the fear, not having it, and you muddle up the whole great idea. So the key is, when you get a feeling, you create within 24 to 48 hours. And what kind of gets attached to it, it's called the success momentum cycle. And the success momentum cycle is success builds confidence, confidence creates activity, activity creates results, results create habits, and habits create success. And it's called the success momentum cycle. And the word success doesn't mean rich, wealth, or money. Success means you feel good. When you feel good, you're a success. If you're rich and wealthy, that means you have a bunch of money. But the true definition of success is you enjoy who you are and what you do. So that's a success momentum cycle. Now listen to what it's called, the success momentum cycle. It goes over like 99% of people's heads. When you create with that energetic knowingness, it goes to work for you automatically. You don't have to do anything. All the thinking and all the how am I going to get people to listen, like, and all that, it's already done. Because energetically, people will be attracted to you, and they'll be able to expand through you because you created something with energetic momentum. Magical. Like, I've never spent a penny on trying to get anyone to click on any of my audios or videos or to find me. Never spent a penny. And my audios are virtually the most listened to in the world. I mean, math doesn't lie, and the numbers are staggering. It's mind-blowing, and it's all intention, and it's all an energetic attraction through my intention. It's magical stuff. It's so magical.
It is magical.
Magical.
And Debbie Garcia over in the chat room says, I dig that. The success momentum cycle is very awesome. And you're awesome too, Debbie. I love that girl.
Yeah, hi Debbie. She sent me a quick Facebook message before the show, so we said hello.
Good. And she's typing to you now. But yeah, that success momentum cycle, and just that word momentum, it's like you get into that mode of wanting to get out of your bad spot. Like I was explaining, I was in that very bad place. And once you find something, some rope to hold on to, it's like you started that momentum. You started taking one baby step, and then the next step comes. And, this is just a great tool to help people that don't know where to turn. Let's see what Debbie says. Debbie says, I love you too. Hi, Paul. You're fabulous. Thank you for such incredible inspiration.
All right, you got it. I haven't even begun yet. Like, I'm still at the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of all this.
Absolutely. Oh, and you have something new going on that I am just thrilled about, and that's your Mastermind Radio.
Oh, the music.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I love your Mastermind Radio. I have headphones on while I work a regular 9-to-5 job, but I have Mastermind Radio playing because I just love the vibe. the vibe comes through on there, and it just lifts you up, and so it's like every a few minutes I'll just take a break and just listen to see what's playing. Can you explain that and how people can find it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's called Paul Santisi Music Mastermind. Now we have Music Mastermind Radio. I'll give everyone a little background on how that began, because that story is awesome too. Everything's so awesome once you stop thinking and start feeling.
Right.
Just anyone listening and watching. I'm filming this too, by the way, folks. So Terry will have a link. She'll be able to upload it, and I'll have this on our YouTube channel too. I have some cameras set up, and you can see me on the old school rotary phone with the cord. It's pretty cool. But anyways, actually, I was talking to one of the artists today. It was about 3 years ago, where a lot of people were sending me messages. They were going, Paul, I really like listening to the audios, but I work a job. I have 2 jobs. I have 3 kids. By the time I get home to meditate, I'm bone tired. Do you have anything I can listen to during the day to kind of keep me in the zone, keep me in the vortex, keep my vibration high? So I started thinking, well, okay, I'm using the word thinking for a reason here. I started thinking, okay, well, I'll just make music. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Well, I'm not musically inclined. I think I just found a beat in music a couple years ago, okay? I'm really slow when it comes to music. So I wasn't the method for that delivery for the questions from the people. So then I said, okay, I'll just use the law of attraction. So I sent a command out to the universe, and I just said, universe, I want to associate with people who are listening to my audios and videos, who are having positive experiences that just happen to be musically inclined. That was my request. And I sent it out, and I just let it go. A couple months later, I started getting these emails from this fella. And he's telling me about his awakening, his lucid dreams, astral projections, his self-awareness, just this awesome stories of he's waking up and how amazing it is in his life. So after a few emails, I just happened to type, so what do you do down south? What do you do for work? And he goes, I'm a singer-songwriter. And I'm like,
oh my God.
You're kidding me. I'm like, he's been here the whole time. So I was like, can we talk on the phone? And we spoke, and he sent me some of his music, and it was brilliant. Brilliantly done music. Amazing hip-hop, rap, soul, great stuff. It was a little explicit, a little aggressive, but it was brilliantly done. So then I was like, what do you think about kind of crossing bridges here and creating some pure positive feel-good music? Because I'm thinking, I'll teach you what I know about intention and what I apply into my audios. And if you apply that into your music, I'll share that music with my growing audience, and then we're kind of both singing from the same hymnal, and the listener will have the similar or the same feel-good experience because we both understand intention. And he's like, okay, I'll give it a whirl. And he created the first song. His name was Twize. I was talking to him earlier today. And his first song called Lucid Dreams, he sent it to me. I put that back up on YouTube, shared it with the audience, and within 3 days it was listened to in every country in the world. And again, the comments were just staggering on how the song made people feel. So that's when we knew we were onto something special. And it was him and I for a couple of months, and then one day we did a little mastermind call. We sent out the command to attract more people, and someone popped in, and then someone else, and someone else, and someone else. And with each artist, when you listen to the Music Mastermind songs or the radio, all the artists are creating with a very similar intention that I use. I share with them this intention. It's like a 3-hour phone call. It's like a drilling. It's like an energetic drill that we do. And and it works. It's magical. So all the songs you listen to, they're all created with the intention for the listener to feel better about themselves. So it's pure positive feel-good music because that's truly what it is. And we have all genres. There's everything from rap, hip-hop, Dr. Wayne Bathanis, world-class pianist. He's involved with us, magical musician. We have country. We have jazz. We have classical. You name it. The rap, hip-hop. There's this girl, Sepaternity. She just plays her and a guitar and sings in the moment. It's just raw and it's just awesome. I don't want to leave out any artists. There's so many. There's Da Vinci. There's Erotic. There's just everyone. Aaron Green's is intense. But the point is,
my favorite is Diane. Is it Diane?
Diane, the amazing Diane in Canada.
Oh,
Diane
I love
is magical.
her.
Yeah, that's why I
Really
apologize
is.
if any of you guys are listening and I'm forgetting. It's getting late at night here. My brain's going into mush mode. But yeah, that's Paul Santisi Music Mastermind, and if anyone wants to check that out, there's a free app in the Apple Store and on Android. Just search Paul Santisi Music, and you can download and tune in. And that's relatively new. We launched that about 6 weeks ago. There's many more benefits and features coming to the app. So again, right now when you dial in and check it out, it's the beginning of the app. It's going to get much more interactive over the next few weeks and several months, and it's going to be much better. We have a bunch of weekly shows coming. I'm going to have a weekly show. Dr. Wayne Bathanis is going to have a weekly show. Tweeze is going to have a weekly show, and a couple other artists too. And we have some other great top radio talent people involved with us in that. So again, that's at the beginning of the beginning, but that's something else coming that people can listen to if you don't have, that 45 minutes or an hour to meditate.
Right. Awesome. And I certainly appreciate it. I know, like I said, I turn it on just about every day. I turn it on to see what can lift me up for the day, because it always does. The music's inspiring on there. So I recommend it highly to anybody. So let's talk about your mentors. Who do you look up to or listen to? Is there anybody, particular books you read, or anybody that is a positive influence on your life?
Sure. Great question. There's very few people I listen to, but I listen to them over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's a principle that I learned from one of them, and when I started focusing on it and applying it, it's made the world a difference on who I'm becoming. That's for sure. There's only three types of people you should listen to. That's people who have what you want, who have been where you are, and who have been where you want to be. And the reason is, if you can associate with those three types of people, energetically, they're not in competition with you. So they're offering you energetic support, empathy, encouragement, and love. A magical little formula when you really dig into that.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm pretty old school when it comes to who I listen to. I go over Napoleon Hill's The Laws of Success in 16 Lessons over and over and over again. The Magic of Thinking Big over and over again. How to Win Friends and Influence People over and over again. There's a few people, Peter Ragnar, he's been touted as the luckiest guy in the world. He talks about how luck is a science. You can create your own luck. He's been very magical in my life. There's a couple others, but there's very few. And I always go back to those three concepts. I listen to people who have what I want, who have been where I am, and who have been where I want to be. And that's it. And the reason is, if you listen to people that don't fall into that category, what they say may sound good, and they may be giving you really good, sound good information, but energetically, there's no experience or knowingness behind it. They're just rehashing what they heard or what they read that sounded good to them, and they're putting together a bunch of sound good material. Well, it sounds good, but there's no energy. You're not benefiting from any buzz energetically. When you can focus on those three types of people that we talked about, energetically, they're sending you huge amounts of support, encouragement, empathy, and love. And that makes all the difference in the world when you go to apply that information. Like we talked about the success momentum cycle, it's kind of very similar. There's a positive energy attached to it automatically. It's not flat, where if you listen to people who just put together information to sell it or to get recognized, there's no buzz behind what they create. So you listen to it, it may sound good, but even if you try to apply it, there's no momentum behind it. You have to figure it all out, and that muddles everything up, because then you get into the think stage and start thinking about the how, and then you get doubt, worry, stress, confusion, uncertainty. There is a point to use discernment, but discernment is much more effective when you're listening to the right people, because then you can use your own discernment and apply it. And that's something very magical on its own as well.
Absolutely. So that's who you listen to as far as books. Do you have somebody that you follow, like an authors or a series of authors?
No. To be completely honest and transparent with everyone, I struggle the most with reading. Those people who can put their nose into a book and devour the information, that's not me. I can get a few sentences in, and then I keep repeating the same sentence. I start reading backwards, and I'm slow. A page probably takes me 7 or 8 minutes, and then I have no clue what I read. But beyond, that, I understand the benefit or the neural pathways that are created in the brain when the action of reading the right information goes to work for you. So when I read something, I'm not too concerned about if I get what's being presented. I know energetically the neural pathways that I'm creating in my brain are giving me knowingness that I may not be aware of at the moment, but in the long run, in the long term, there's huge benefit to it. So reading is probably my least. I struggle with reading. I'm definitely not an avid reader, but I at least read a page or a word or a sentence a day, and sometimes I might just read the same sentence 10 times.
Right.
But like I said, it goes back to the understanding of the action of reading more than comprehending it in the now.
Yeah, I know for me, I love to read. I'm an avid reader, but I'm so glad that so much stuff has come out now, like on the audio books, and you can listen to a whole book just that's being read out loud to you, and I love that.
Me too. I love the audios. I'm an audio junkie. I love audios.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question from the chat room. Deb says she would love to hear about your energy coin.
Sure, the energy coin. Let's see. I actually have a couple here. For those watching, you'll see what I'm showing you. For those listening, you'll have to wait to watch to see what I'm doing. But basically, these energy coins came out with these about 3 years ago as well, and these are really exciting. The story behind these is an interesting one. My friend Joe went to a weekend event in Chicago, and he met up and waited in line to meet the Amazing Kreskin. I don't know if you've heard the Amazing Kreskin or not.
Yes, I have.
But he's been around, 5, 6 decades. He's a world-renowned mentalist. The guy's brilliant, amazing, great guy. And my friend Joe went to one of his seminars, and he was asking some questions on stage, and my friend Joe knew the answers. He goes, I've been waiting 30 years, and I've never found someone that can help me with this, and my friend Joe knew we could help him. So Joe waited, hung out, got to meet him, exchanged his business cards and everything. I flew in. We went to an event the next day. And then a couple of weeks later, I was in his kitchen in New Jersey. And we were talking about a specific project back then. And he had these keys made up called the Kreskin key. And he's been giving them out for years. And he gave me the key. He goes, here, you have a key. And I opened it and I looked at it. And I handed it back to him and I said, here, hold this. I want you to put your intention into this key for me. And he kind of looked at me with like this wonder and amazement. And I was able to observe this master at who he is and what he does. In front of me, he closed his eyes, he held this key, and he did what he had to do. And then he opened his eyes, he gave it back to me, and he said, never let anyone touch this key. And I thought, great, thank you. And I put it in my pocket, and he gave me some other keys. I put those in my pocket, my other pocket, and we carried on with our meeting, and I went home. When I got home, I started to notice that the key that he had held had this vibration, had this buzz to it. I had this energy. And that the keys that he didn't touch didn't have anything. They were flat, just like pop metal. So I was thinking, all right, am I crazy or what's going on here? So I put my blindfold on and I just tested, and I did this about 300 times. And each and every time I knew what key he had held and put his energy into. So that gave me all the knowingness in the world that this energy and intention thing was true. And we talked about some of that at the beginning. This is all in relation to how I harness and apply this now. And so I knew it was real. So then that gave me that knowingness. So the coin, again, I just sat down in front of the computer and about 5 minutes designed this thing. Had no clue. I just picked symbols, put some words, just flowed through me real quickly. And had the coins made and started offering them. But what makes these special, there's a few elements to it. Number one, the symbols on it they attract pure positive energy to you. There's a torus of energy in the flower of life. And then I hold each coin. We have pendants as well. And I hold each one for the person on a one-by-one basis. And I put my energy and intention into the piece for the person. So each piece is special. Each piece is individual. And then I come up with an activation audio that you listen to. And you actually activate yourself through the coin. And we do energy block removals. There's some techniques we do. It's an interactive audio. And that's what those are. And, some people, they're like, are you serious? A coin? What are you talking about? And, again, once you go on YouTube and you start reading the comments, I can't make this stuff up. I just can't. And the pure positive results and experiences that people are experiencing with these things, again, you can't make this stuff up. It's amazing. So it's pretty much a piece. It's the power of intention matched with the perfect vibration. The symbols attract. I put my energy into it, and then the activation audio activates the person through the piece. And they're a great good luck generator. They're there to empower you, to let you know that you're in control of your life in any waking moment. And then if something non-desirable presents itself, that you caused it, that you're acknowledging it, and then you take full control back over it and persevere and push through. They're really cool. They're in this 3D design. They're solid. I mean, these things, they're solid. They're solid pieces. They're heavy too. They're really nice. Yeah, good question.
My friend Bob Miller had shown me on video the one that he got from you, and he was just in awe that, and I haven't heard any of what his experience is with it. I was hoping he would call in tonight and maybe share some of that. But yeah, I'll be on his show on Monday, so I'll make sure I ask him about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's they're really cool, and they're available. If anyone listening or watching goes on YouTube, you can just type in Paul Santisi Energy Coin, and I have multiple videos, and there's dozens of testimonials from people all over the world. There's all that information, more details on what they're about, how they work, and all that good stuff.
Right. And thank you, Debbie, for bringing that up. So when you get these urges and these things that come forth, and then you follow through and do like either the meditations or developing this coin or your mastermind radio, all these great things, that you've got going and that you're putting out there to help us, do you think or do you know that this is your higher self that's like channeling these ideas through to you? Are you in touch with that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, good question, good reference. When I'm creating, like I said, a feeling presents itself. I get the feeling. I literally go into the sound booth. A lot of times I shut the lights off. A lot of times I'm just in the dark, just me and the microphone. I clear my mind. I take a few deep breaths, and I just let it flow. And I'm completely unaware of what I'm creating until I listen to it back. So when I'm listening to it back for the first time, I'm just as excited as a listener listening to a new audio. And I learned so much about myself from myself because I'm not aware of the version of me that's creating in that creation process. I act on that feeling, and then I kind of like blank out really until I listen to it back. And then most of the time I'm like, wow, where did that come from? Like, because I tell you, I talk about things in a certain way that I couldn't plan or make up if I tried. It's So I love listening back to what I create because I learned so much more about what I thought I didn't know that I actually did know because obviously it was me. But I'm unaware of all that until I listen back to it.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I do meditation videos as well, and it seems like I always know. I get this little nudge, this little sign that something is going to come out of my mouth that's not in my human brain. And so I've learned to now follow that instinct and turn the recorder on. And then, like you said, playing it back, you're like, oh my gosh, I said that, but I didn't say that. I know it was through spirit that it happened. And it's just an amazing feeling when you know that has happened and that they've used you as a vessel to bring forth something, so beautiful and that will touch so many lives. So,
and that all goes back to the intention. Like, I'm sure you've noticed on pretty much every audio, the intention of this audio, over and over and over again. The intention. Because the only way you can connect and resonate with people or to allow them to expand through you is you have to elicit emotion. You have to stir up that energy, get that realization, get that aha moment to present itself. And when your intention, like I said at the beginning, my intention is for one person to feel better about themselves. But the second part to that is I care, but not that much. Like, I want someone to feel better about themselves, but I can't want it more than they want it for themselves.
Oh,
so whether
yes.
they do or whether they don't, I'm not going to lose a night's sleep over it.
Right.
I truly care, but not that much. I'm here to help the able to become more able and the capable to become more capable. I'm not here to try to prove my point to anyone. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I'm not looking for a Christmas card from anyone. I speak from experience, and I know what I'm sharing with you works because it worked in my life, and I want others to experience this feelings of self-greatness. But if you don't, I don't care.
That's right.
Makes no difference to me. And that really, people let me ask you, when you listen to my things, does it sound like I'm hoping you like me? Does it sound like I'm hoping I don't step on your toes?
No, not at all.
No, you can tell I care about you, but I can't care about you more than you want to care about you. And that's really the magic recipe. That's really the magic recipe, folks. Anyone who wants to create anything in life, that you got to get to that awareness of yourself, and applying that is how you elicit and stir emotions in others, and then you get that energy flowing. Then that allows them to expand through you by allowing them to have aha moments, cognitions, and realizations about themselves. Because everything you need to know is already in plain sight. It's already in front of you. It's just getting you to that point of seeing it or feeling it. That's the magic.
Exactly.
There's
and
no
maybe
new
saying it
information.
in just the right way. Yeah, just saying
Right.
it in a different way, maybe, putting it in a structure to where somebody actually says, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah. I use my intention to convey that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not focused on my words. I'm focused on the energy behind, the energy before the words.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is maybe somebody has heard that message before, but they're hearing the way you said it, and with the passion that you say it in your meditation, in your videos. And I think
they're feeling it.
Makes you pay
they're
more,
finally feeling
more attention. Yeah. It makes you pay more attention to what's being said, and I love that. It's just awesome.
Yeah, because people will feel where you're coming from infinitely faster than they'll hear what you're trying to say. So whether it's an audio, a video, a song, if the energy's in alignment with who the creator is, that's everything. Everything else is technical. It's logistics. Really doesn't mean anything. And everyone focuses on that stuff. They focus on the how. They focus on the logistics. They got it ass backwards. Because if you focus on logistics, you spend a fortune in advertising trying to get someone to like you.
Right.
Stop. Focus on you. Speak from experience. Set your intention. And people will be attracted to you. It's so simple, but it is so not heard at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah, and and that's pretty much what I've done. I record the videos, I put them out there, and it's like sometimes I don't even go on and look at them, for a long time. And I go look at them, and go, people commented, or I've been listening to them. And I'm like, great. Or somebody makes a comment, on Facebook about it, and and I don't need that validation. It's like you were saying, but it's just nice when you know that somebody has resonated with the message.
That's the best feeling in the world when others edify you through other people. I mean, edification is its own magical, God, that could be a 3-hour phone call just on edification alone. But there's power in edification, because when other people talk positively about you to other people, when they're speaking the words about you, they're sending you energetic support, empathy, encouragement, and love instantly. Then when that other person says, oh, wow, that sounds great, let me check him out, then they hold on to that buzz from that person. So they're holding on to that buzz. And they have a positive experience. Then in that moment, they're sending you, the author or the creator, more pure positive energy. And that cycle repeats and it duplicates. Edification is amazing. And when people edify you based on how you created energetically, that's the best form of pure positive energy that you could ever want, hope, desire, expect. Like, no type of money or advertising will ever give you that feeling. It may give you some bucks or some dollars or some good ratios, but the feeling of that edification from others it's as you know, when you receive it, you can't put words on that feeling.
No, you really can't. We've got a few minutes left, but I wanted to tell you, last night was such an amazing show. We talked about our inner child and the necessity of letting that inner child come out and play. What does your inner child do when it comes out and plays? What does Paul Santisi do for fun?
Ooh, what do I do for fun? I cook and I eat.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
I've always, I think I come out of the womb asking for a flank steak. Like I've always understood food. I've always had a relationship with food, so I'm able to create and cook a lot of different things. So I spend a lot of time cooking, and I do a lot of creating, a lot of building. It really, it just kind of just depends what I'm feeling. I go in and out of spurts. I used to love the gym. I did that for a long time, and then I'm like, everything hurts, everything clicks, everything pops. I'm like, this doesn't thrill me as much as it used to.
The joy of getting older, right?
Yeah. I like set building. I like building sets nowadays. I like learning graphics and sound, and I love the internet, and I love my iPhone, and I love what we can do with them, and I'm always listening and learning to something. So I don't like yard work, that I can tell you. I don't like to mow the lawn. I don't like to dig holes. I don't like to plant flowers. I don't like to water the lawn. I have no joy in watching the grass grow. I have none. I would much rather cover it with rocks and drive my truck over it if I had a choice.
Or come down here and sit on the beach, right?
Yes, we're working on the Florida lifestyle, because I would much rather be hot as heck and need another iced coffee than I would to need another blanket any day of the week.
I hear you there. We have someone on the phone that has raised their hand, and I think I know who this is. Hello.
Hello, Terry and Paul. Bob Miller.
Hey, Bob.
Hello,
what's
Bob
going
Miller.
on?
What's happening, guys?
We're just chatting, having fun.
I'm sitting here with my energy coin in my hand here.
Oh,
my
fantastic.
Paul Santisi energy coin.
Nice. What do you think? Tell us about it.
It's cool. It's awesome. I had no idea it was going to be so big and so heavy. It's actually a piece of art. It's really a very beautiful coin. Very nice.
Nice.
I like it. It's got the two different symbols, one on one side, one on the other. And it just and your whole activation thing explains it as well. So that's pretty cool. No, I really appreciate that. So I want to thank you very much for that. And I actually feel good when I have it in my possession. It just, I mean, you said you actually each one that you put you put that energy into it yourself before you send them out.
Yep, I do. And some people say, well, what do you do? What do you spend all day holding coins? And some days I do, yes. But, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. Because, I mean, if we go back in history, throughout all of time, people who have received heirlooms or good luck talismans or family pieces, those pieces have been very special because of the energy attached to those pieces.
Or even religious symbols. I mean, like crucifix.
Right, exactly.
Things like.
Yeah, it's the energy. So these coins and these pendants, it kind of allows anyone to have a good luck piece that has that energy into it. Because you can go to the store and buy something that says luck or a four-leaf clover, but it's just pot metal. There's no energy to it. It's not going to do anything. It's the energy from someone else that amplifies that piece. And that's what I decided to do with these.
I mean, energy, it never leaves, does it? Anything that was ever created is always still there, huh?
Right. Yeah. Every thought that's ever been thought has created something. Yes.
I know that's really mind blowing when you think about that. Now, what about like on pictures, Paul? Because I've heard people could look at a photograph and get energy like from a photograph. Is that the same principle?
Yeah, there's a lot of energies in photographs. It's the same as like if you can walk into a certain area or a building or a space and feel the energy. Energy can permeate, and energy can grow either positively or negatively. Like if more and more people think some place is haunted, it will become more haunted because more people are putting that energy at it. So they're feeding the negativity. They're feeding the fear. So energy is everything is energy. That's what makes it fun. And we have the ability to harness, broadcast, and direct that energy however we want. And we can embrace whatever energy we want. We can repel whatever energy we find non-desirable. And we can expand and project feel-good energy for others. But you can't control anyone else's brain. You can't control anyone with your thoughts. But we sure as heck can influence other people with our thoughts. And when you can dial into that and apply it, the results, they're instant. And the results are in the comments. Because people will tell you how they're feeling. And a lot of people with these comments, like you've both received a lot of really good positive comments from people. I've seen them. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to get people to like you in the masses. It's really tough. So when you can do that...
years, Paul.
But when you can do it, it's special. And I enjoyed the call I had with Bob. I'm enjoying this tonight. The listeners, it's all good to associate with like-minded people.
Your meditations. I have a friend of mine who's actually here right now, and he's been listening to your meditations at nighttime.
Debbie on here tonight too?
No, so he's been listening. He's been listening to your meditations, and he's really enjoying them quite a bit. His name's Len Mooney. Awesome. Yeah, he's loving it. Yeah, so it's cool. I think they're great, but I think you're always all the things that you. I haven't listened to all of them because you have so much value you put out there. There's tons of stuff out there.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of hours. Yeah.
That's really cool. It's really amazing stuff. But yeah, I appreciate you. I honor you for everything that you're doing, Paul. So thank you so much for being you.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate all you guys way more for being you. I'm just me.
Right. Well, we're just us too. So hey, my friend who listens, he wants to say hi to his name is Len here.
Sure.
So, Paul, hi, Len Mooney here.
Hi, Len.
You'll probably get to know me over a little bit of the next few weeks or months here, but friend of Bob's. But yeah, Bob introduced me to you via one of your meditations, and they are really awesome. I'm getting a lot out of them, so I really, really appreciate what you're doing. They're just powerful, really powerful.
Excellent.
They stir me.
Which one did you start with? Which ones have you listened to? Do you remember?
Well, one of the ones I've been listening to recently is about money, but one of the ones that I started with was a more general. It's just boy, I don't remember the name of it, to be honest with you. I've listened to it several times. But Bob, maybe do you remember which is the first one you sent me?
No, the money one is one I think I turned you on to it first.
No, the one you turned me on first was not the money one.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, there's
I'm
so
sorry.
many.
I'm sorry, Paul. I can't answer you. I feel embarrassed that I can't, but I can't. So,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Anyhow, let me give the phone back to Bob, and really appreciate what you're doing, buddy. Thank you for everything.
All right, thank you, Len. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Len.
Okay, guys, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Bob, we'll be
Thank
in
you
touch.
for calling,
I'll be
Bob.
back on your show soon, too. We'll go for round 2.
Terry's going to be on my show actually on Monday. She's going to come back on.
Oh, awesome. I'll tune in.
Yeah, that's cool. She's already a veteran. Good woman.
All right. Well, thank you, Bob, and thank you, Lynn, for calling in. And
Thanks, Terry. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of our show. Hello. Hi, Paul. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Okay, I thought I heard somebody say Terry. That might have been Bob. I cut him off. So we are at the end of the show, and if you would like to do any closing words that people suggest, then please do so.
Sure. We'll just keep it simple. Just go to YouTube, type in my name, Paul Santisi, Santisi, and everything will pop up. I believe right now there's over 280 hours worth of free audios, videos, and meditations and trainings and so much. Just pick one, start rolling with it, and we cover so many topics. Just do a search and click on what resonates with you, and go from there. It's everything's there. You can find everything else through that. And if you want to check out the music, you can just go to Apple, the App Store, or Google Play for Android. Just type in Paul Santisi Music and download the free app and dial into hundreds of pure, positive, feel-good songs. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good
I
stuff.
love it.
Great stuff.
Thank you so much, my friend, my mentor. I love you. I love everything that you put out there, all that positive, and I will keep listening to you as long as there is a Paul Santisi to listen to.
Fantastic. You got it. I appreciate the invitation. Yeah. And I appreciate the invitation to the show as well. So we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. You have a great night, my friend.
All right, you too, and everyone listening, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and keep being great.
Yes, thank you to all the listeners, and I'll see you tomorrow on Angel Speakers Blog Talk Radio. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.